Trooper A1, The Purple Blitzkrieg by Gabrielle Marie Kozak. Book 1 of the Trooper series. Narrated by the author. Chapter 16. Friday afternoon was when Adrian got a call asking him to drive down to the police station. Maura and Victoria were home, so they went along as well. It wasn't good news, Maura could tell in the air. No one spoke a word the entire drive. When they arrived, Maura dashed out of the car and up the single step, beating her parents into the front room of the police station. They arrived soon enough, though, and identified themselves to the officer behind the desk. "Mr. and Mrs. Adrian White," Adrian told the officer, "and our daughter." "White." The officer nodded, though the glance he cast at Maura was not exactly a welcoming one. "We've been expecting you. Step this way, please, will you?" He pointed them to a door. "Third door on the left." "Thanks," Adrian nodded, leading the way. The room was small. At one side there was a desk where a female officer was sitting. There was a table, and on it were Connor's jacket, wallet, and phone. The jacket with some traces of red on it. Maura flinched visibly. The officer stood up from her desk as they entered the room and turned around to face them. Her face was friendly, but she wasn't smiling. "Mr. Adrian White, Mrs. Victoria White, and Miss Maura White?" she asked. "Yes," Adrian answered for them all. "Neve French, nice to meet you. Now, I have some things to tell you, Mrs. White." The results came back. They matched, Neve told the mother, the police officer's voice and manner businesslike. "So it's Connor's?" Victoria asked quietly. Neve nodded, her eyes downcast. "Secondly, we found several different sets of fingerprints on the articles over there." She pointed distractedly to the things on the table. "Most of them weren't in our records, but one set was. They belonged to a former drug dealer by the name of Reginald Tauber, who was released from jail 2 months ago. Officer Derek Lassick is handling your case, and he's out looking for the perp right now." "A drug dealer?" Maura echoed before she could restrain herself. "Why? Connor was nowhere near the waterfront." "It appears that he was," Neve shook her head. "I'm sorry for your loss," she added, glancing up at the parents. "I really am. We'll update you once we find out more. We're done with the articles. You can take them with you when you go. Any questions?" Looking dazed, Adrian shook his head, but Maura answered before either of her parents could. "Were you able to track where he went using the phone?" she asked. There was something in her voice that made Victoria look at her. Something fierce, something almost calmly despairing. Neve stared at her. "Yeah, actually, there was an embedded tracker that isn't usually found in that phone model. Do you know anything about that?" "Yeah," Maura nodded. "I put it there," she admitted slowly. "Well, you did a good job." Neve smiled slightly. "It was pretty well done for an amateur." "Thanks." Maura's white cheeks flushed slightly, and Adrian squeezed her hand. "Would you like to see his route?" Neve continued, gesturing toward her computer. Maura shook her head. No thanks," she managed to stammer. Neve looked slightly startled, but she shrugged. "Mr. and Mrs. White, do you have any questions?" "No." Adrian stepped forward, picked up Connor's jacket, and wrapped the wallet and phone in it. He tucked them underneath his elbow mechanically. "Sorry, one more," Maura whispered, biting her lip. Neve nodded. "Yes? May I please have your phone number?" Meanwhile, Derek and 4 other police officers were on their way to Reginald's place at that very moment, in 2 police cars. One officer rode with Derek and Rocky, the others were in the other car. It didn't take them long to reach the waterfront, and only a couple more minutes to find the place they'd been directed to. But the moment Derek, who'd been driving the leading car, pulled up in front of the house and got out of the car, they saw a figure running away from the back of the rundown house. "Stop!" Derek yelled, but to no avail as the man sprinted for the street. With lightning speed, Derek threw himself back into his seat and started the engine of his patrol car. "Don't get out!" he yelled to the other officer, who had his door open and his seatbelt unbuckled. The next instant, they were on the chase. Looking slightly dazed, Derek's companion just managed to slam his door shut and start buckling his belt. "The target's getting into a car!" Derek yelled into his microphone to the other patrol car. "We're following you," came the reply. Derek stared ahead at the target's car beginning to move, slowly at first, but picking up speed. The policeman put his foot down on the pedal. The murderer wasn't going to get away. From the fact that this part of the waterfront was a favorite criminal resort, Derek knew the street layout pretty well, and so even as the chase began, he was thinking of a way to cut the criminal's car off. He put his plan into action by yelling into his microphone again. "Pete, keep chasing him. I'm going to block him after 3 intersections. Keep me posted." "Righto." Slowing the car so he could turn down a side street, Derek glanced momentarily at his companion. "Got your seatbelt on?" "Yeah," the other replied. "Why?" "This is going to be a wild ride." Derek suited action to the words by pressing down hard on the accelerator. The tires squealed horribly as he turned another corner, and now they were running a route parallel to Tauber's. "One!" Derek called out to himself, swinging the wheel just in time to avoid slamming into the back of a truck. They passed a crossing, and Derek caught a glimpse of the pursued car. Obviously, they were going the same speed. "Two!" he yelled, accelerating the car even more. His companion braced himself for the turn he knew was coming. Rocky howled. "Last sec, they're coming on third!" a voice shouted through their earphones. "So are we!" Derek exclaimed, jerking the steering wheel to the left sharply. There was another loud skidding sound that could be heard even above the sirens. Their car was racing directly into the path of that of the criminal. Derek slammed on the brakes, intending to block the road with his car. Reginald Tauber would have to stop his own car, and the other patrol car would come up behind him. The criminal would be cornered. But things didn't quite go as expected, and Reginald had been driving too fast to stop in time. He screamed as the cop's car shot into the road ahead of him, and his own car slammed into theirs.